Soft Flex just released their Midwinter 2026 Kind Heart collection that's full of soft color, thoughtful details, and creative possibilities. We'll take a close look at everything inside, including the Jesse James Beads add-on strand, the coordinating bead mix, and the trio of beading wire colors. At the end of the video, I'll be creating a short project using the beads from this collection to spark a little design inspiration. Let's get started. Here is the first half of the Kind Heart TGBE Midwinter 2026 collection. So we'll go through these real quick and then we'll go through the strands and everything else that came in this kit as well. So the first thing you get is you always get a full spool of some beading wire. We got the pink tourmaline color, so there is a close-up color. Whoops. Not focusing. There we go. Close-up color of that pink tourmaline. And it is medium-sized wire. It is 29 strands, and you get a total of 10 feet. So that is the first thing that you get. You also get some crimp tubes, and then we got the sterling silver black oxidized crimp tubes. So they're kind of like a gunmetal color. So you get a grouping of those. You also get a 10-yard spool of 22 gauge silver plated rose gold craft wire. So there is the wire that we get, and then there's your rose gold color. So it's a full spool of that as well. You get a pair of ear wires, and these are also in the gunmetal. They are 12 millimeter. No, they're not. They're just ear wires. I'm reading the lobster clasp because that's what the 12 millimeter is. You get a 12 millimeter gunmetal lobster clasp. Oh my. So there's more of your findings. And then you also get a very large selection of a Kind Heart crystal bead mix. So you have all of these beads left over in the bag, and then as well as these beads that are down here. So we have a gemstone that's in there, and I'm not quite sure of the gemstone, which they may tell you what the gemstone is. When I was looking at some of these, it looked like they had a little bit of chatoyance to them. So kind of like what you would see in labradorite or in like tiger's eye and stuff like that, but I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you can see it a little bit with the one that I'm moving around with my fingernail. There's a little bit of a chatoyance in that one. So I'm not sure what the gemstone is, but it's very pretty. It's like a dark purple with a little bit of a blackness to it, and then it has that chatoyance running through it, so very pretty. Then you have a druck, a large, this looks like a 6 millimeter druck, and it's in transparent red. Then you have a couple different sizes of some rondelles. You have a opaque red rondelle, and this is the larger of the three sizes. And then you have a transparent pink, that is the smaller of the colors. And then you also have more of it's kind of like a semi-opaque with maybe an AB wash or an AB coating on top of it. But it's a pink as well. It's kind of hard to see against my hands, but those are the three rondelles that you get. These two look like they're about the same size, and then this one's a bigger size, the red one is. So that's the bead mix. So meet me back in just a moment. We'll go through the bead strands and the extra components that came in the kit. And here's the second half of the TGBE Midwinter Market 2026 Kind Heart collection. So these are the bead strands. So the first one you get is a 4 millimeter check glass red fire polish. So very nice transparent red color, and always a good staple size to have is the 4 millimeters. The next one that you get is a 5 by 8 millimeter Chinese crystal dark purple color. And these are rondelles. They are a very, very nice Chinese crystal. It's like I really, really like this color. It's like a really, really nice transparent dark purple. It's like purple is my color. When you have the choice between red, pinks, and purples, yep, that's me. So I really like that one. Alright, and then you have a small strand of check glass lilac opal gem cuts. And these are kind of like little rondelles as well. but you can definitely tell that they're a little opal color, so they're a little bit more opaque, but they do have a little bit of a lilac color to them. They kind of look almost grayish in the camera, but there is a purple color to it, a purple hue. So very pretty, very nice to be able to use for spacers in some of the projects and designs and things. Next strand is a 7mm check glass fire pink fire polish, or fire pink. It's check glass pink fire polish. Add an extra fire word in there. So it's a very transparent pink again, and then you have a little bit of an AB coating. So every once in a while, like right here, you can see that there's a little bit of a flash of a different color, like a yellow color. So you have a little bit of an AB coating on these guys. And it's a very good size to have on this one. This one's a size 7. I have a whole lot of 3s and 4s and 6s and 8s, but I don't have a whole lot of 5s and 7s. So it's a really good to get a size that I don't have very much of. So nice to work with. This next thing is extremely, really nice. I really like this one. This is the button that comes in the kit. It's a check glass jet purple luster button. So you can see a little bit of purple around the edges, and then you can see that, you know, there's some black right here because it's almost like a table cut. And then you have etching that's been done with what looks to be like rose gold in the center to make it look like ropes and just different textures and everything. This button is really, really neat. So I'm not sure if everybody's going to get the same button, but I really like this button. The back side of it's just black like this, and then you have a shank for your connector. So that's the button. So I'm definitely going to be using this in a bracelet design in one of my projects. Now these, I'm not quite sure exactly what they are. I can tell you what they look like to me, but they are listed in the product as 9mm MC Lock roses that are vintage preciosa. To me, they look like they are flat back crystals that are used for sew-ons. So you have the flat back crystal where it has a flat back and then it has a little bit of a dome. But these have a hole in the center of the item right there, of the crystal, so that way you can use it to actually attach something on top of it, and you can do this in embroidery sometimes. You can use it in other things as well, but this is something very interesting that I kind of have an idea for a bracelet for, so I'll see if I have time to come back and show you how to use these. Alrighty, so here is the last thing. It is a coin pendant with a heart. So you get it is a gold color, and it has that heart stamp there in the front and the center, and it's kind of indented on this side, and when you flip it over to the back, it's the same thing on the back, and then it's like bumpy on this side. It's got a bumpy heart. So it's the same thing. Very nice, very fun. It'd be different to work with all the different purples and blacks and stuff like that, and have a little bit of gold in there too. So that is the end of the kit itself. So meet me back in just a moment. We'll start going through the Jesse James beads, the bead strand, and then the extra bead mix, and the trilogy of the beading wire that you can purchase as add-ons to the kit. So meet me back in just a moment and we'll start going through those. So here's the Jesse James bead strand that you can get. So we'll go ahead and cut this apart and see what items come in this strand itself. So just remove the wire from there, and it looks like we get 4 small little rondelles. These look to be just about the same color as the other purple strand that we got in the main kit, but they are a smaller size rondelle in the color purple. Then we've got some larger of the same. We got 2 really large ones. Same purple color again. Then we got some interesting transparent lilac colored purple drops where you have the hole going down the center. Those are really pretty. Those would be fun to use in a pair of earrings. We've got some frosted larger color, or larger, kind of like a frosted purpley color. They're probably around an 8mm bead. We've got some fun, I don't know, they kind of just remind me of firecrackers or something. I don't know, they're just fun little beads. They've got flat back crystals that have been glued onto them, or it's probably resin, used with resin or something like that, and then you have the hole going down the center like that. So they're fun, extremely lightweight. Very good. They would be very good to use in earrings. These guys I'm probably going to make in a pair of earrings. These guys are pretty cool. These are some really, really neat beads. I'll try to hold this up a little bit closer. So you've got some special coatings and things like that here to make it look like purple stripes with a little bit of glitteryness inside that purple. And then you've got the AB beads around the side, which kind of almost looks like it might be, oh, I don't know, they're chatons of some sort. It's kind of hard to see that far away. But anyways, so these guys are really neat. And they're not very heavy. So these would make perfect pair of earrings. And just do something special down here at the top and the bottom and up here at the top too. Something special and simple, because this is very, very unique. So I may end up doing a pair of earrings with that. And here's your focal for this. Very pretty. I love the purple. Absolutely love the purple. And I love the sparkliness of this heart. It's really, really nice. And you have the hole that goes down the center. So definitely going to be using this in a necklace project. And then I can kind of see maybe some tassels or something like that hanging down from the end of the heart. Something like that at least. So that's your focal. We get a couple of spacers, some rondelle spacers that have some flat back crystals in it. And this is a crystal AB color. I got 4 of those. We have some bead caps. I got 4 of these that came on the strand. So there's your bead cap. It's got a little bit of a design on one side, kind of like a swirly design, and then that's what it looks like on the inside of it. So you got 4 of those. And then you got 4 little crystal, like little crystal ball type things. So those are cute little, just normal crystal. There's no AB to it or anything like that. So that is the Jesse James bead strand that you can purchase. So meet me back and we'll go through the Jesse James bead mix that you can purchase as well. And here's the contents of the Jesse James bead mix that you can purchase as an add-on. So you get a cute little focal, a very nice little bead. Looks like it's a lampwork type bead. And then the back looks something similar to the front. So it's a cute little focal bead. You get 2 really nice opaque red drop beads that are quite large. So very nice there. The hole goes down the center. You've got some transparent red larger rondelles. Very nice there again. The crystal is very, very well made. Really like those. You get some more of the little crystally balls that you got in the bead strand also. So you got 4 more of those. And then you have some metal spacers. These are going to be some antique silver or silver colored metal spacer. So just something that's very nice and small, very dainty looking, very simple looking as well. Then you have some bead caps. You get a bunch of these. And these kind of remind me of like flower vases, is what they remind me of. So who knows, maybe we can make some flowers with this. Make some little, maybe some heart flowers or something. Maybe that could be our earring we make. I don't know, I'll come up with something. But you get a bunch of these that you can use. And those are in a black color. So it kind of goes along with our gunmetal theme. These are cute little daisy type spacers. You get a lot of these as well. It's got that gunmetal finish again. Kind of remind me of little atoms in a way. And then you have more of your little spacer rondelles that have the crystals in them, the little flat back crystals. And this is in the crystal AB again. These are smaller than the ones that were on the bead strand. So you have 2 different sizes of those. And here's the little hearts that I was thinking about. Little purple hearts. So it's a transparent purple color. and then the hole goes down the center of them. So you get 6 of those. You get some purple pearls. So there's your little pearl that you get. And it looks like you get 10 of those. You get 4 of these. They're just a larger size rondelle again, which looks like it might be some of the same color of the bead mix. So if you look at the bead mix, it looks like it's very similar to that opaly color of the pink in the bead mix. Then you get 4 cat's eye beads. These are a pink cat's eye. So there's that chatoyance again that we were seeing in that gemstone that was in that bead mix. That's typical cat's eye for you. And then you get 4 of these large crystal-y guys. And these are in a darker, almost like a dusty pink color. You get 4 of those. So that is in the bead mix. So we've got one more thing to look at, which is quick and simple, and then after that we will have a supplies needed page to be able to follow along if you would like to make the tutorial that I do at the end. So I'll meet you back in just a second. And then the last thing that you have as an optional add-on to the kit itself is that you can buy a trio of wire that goes along with the kit. So these are the 3 colors that come in the trio. You get the pink tourmaline, which is the same colors that came in the kit. You have a purple amethyst, and you have a garnet color. So then this is your colors. Let me get it to where they are turned around, where there's hopefully not that much glare. So that's your pink tourmaline, and your purple amethyst, and your garnet color. So it's just an optional thing that you can purchase as an add-on as well. So that is the complete TGBE Midwinter Market Kind Heart Collection in 2026. So next page you'll have a supplies needed page for the tutorial, and then after that we will get that tutorial done. So let's make an earring today. So everything that you saw in the supplies list on the previous page is everything that comes in this kit. And then the extra add-ons and things like that. So nothing extra outside of what you can purchase from Soft Flex. The only difference is that I am using the pink tourmaline that came with the kit. So this is the pink tourmaline color. But what I'm using is actually my scrap pieces of my pink tourmaline from other projects that I've used in the past. So I've always suggested to hold on to anything that has, you know, a longer piece like this and everything, to hold on to those pieces, because you never know when you're going to come in and use to for them. I actually store mine in a jar. I have a little old, I don't know, this is a food jar of some sort that I washed, but I just store all of mine in a jar and everything, so I've got all the different colors and everything sitting in there. So I just chose 2 pieces that were about the same length, and this is approximately 3 inches. It's a little bit longer than 3 inches. What we're going to first do is I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half, and then that way we can start adding our beads on in that fashion, because we're going to have this essentially have the loop there at the top, and then we're going to put all the beads on the other end of the loop, and then we're going to end with our crump tube down here in the bottom. So we're going to start off with our heart. So go through the top of the heart first. Just make sure both strands go through. Make sure just not to pull it all the way off, so you don't have to try to add, and so you don't have to add your heart back on again. And then this is one of the pink opal rondelles. And get both of those strands on there. Then we're going to put our bead cap that kind of looks like a flower pot to me. We're going to put that on. Just make sure you're going through the top of the flower pot and coming out the bottom of it. And then for the bottom, we're going to put on one of our little daisy spacers that kind of look like atoms to me. And that's going to just resemble the table that the flower pot's going to sit on. So now, The first one's always the easiest one, because then you can try to figure out, okay, what size loop do I want and everything like that. The second one is when it becomes a little bit more difficult and you have to try to make sure that you're getting the loops about the same. Now, the other thing that you have to think of is that you're going to have room, once you put that crimp tube on, to be able to fit your magical crimper around it. So with that being the case, make sure to push all of your beads without pushing them off the loop itself. Make sure to push all of your beads up to where this loop up here is just slightly smaller than the loop that you want. So that way that'll give you room down here at the bottom to be able to put your crimp tube on, have room to actually crimp itself, and then you'll move these beads down, and then you should hopefully have about a loop that's about the same. So I want to make sure that my loops are just slightly smaller, the one that I'm working on right now. And that looks about good. So I'll hold that up a little bit closer so that way if somebody wants to kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. So there you go. Something similar to that. Now these earrings may not be exactly perfect in length. If that's something that bothers you, then you can always try to get this measured in a better way. Me, I like to get things as close as possible, and I always figure these are earrings. One's going to be on one side of the head, the other one's going to be on the other side of the head. If one is just slightly longer than the other, 9 times out of 10, nobody's going to notice that. Alright, just making sure that I haven't moved my beads any, and kind of looks like I did a little bit. That's okay. Alright. So now I'm going to put the crimp tube, I'm going to grab onto the crimp tube and put it in the center of the crimper first, and then I'm going to move my crimpers all the way down to where I am up against the table or the little atom looking thing, and then I'm going to crimp down on that. And then I'm going to just start turning it in my hand. Usually I like to crimp and then turn it 90 degrees and then start crimping little bits like this. My only issue on the first one is that I actually lost the crimp tube in the center of the crimper. So I had to basically take my crimper off and then go back and try to figure out where it's at and everything. It just didn't crimp very easily. So doing it that way made it a little bit easier. And see, if once you pull the beads back just a little bit, you can see that you have a really good crimp sitting there. Then you can always do your nice little tug test. Then when you push all your beads down, you can do a double check and see how well you are as far as the links, and that's pretty darn close. This one looks like, the new one looks like it might be just ever so slightly a little bit longer. There again, I'm not going to worry about that. So what you want to do next is just take your cutters, go right up against the crimp tube, hold on to the ends of it so they don't go flying on across your desk. And then it is time to add your ear wire. Now on these ear wires, when you're using just your loop itself or just your wire itself, you just want to make sure that this portion up here is actually closed. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. And then the good thing about doing it this way, if your loop ended up like, hold on, I'll figure it out. There you go. So if your loop ended up like that, where it's facing this direction rather than this direction, all you have to do is just turn your heart bead around until it's facing in the right way. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of neat. I don't know if that really makes any difference or not, but whatever. So then you just put it on your ear wire, and then we're going to close this ear wire up. So I'm just twisting it back. And when I did my first one, I'm going to kind of break this loop a little bit and show you what happened with the first one. The first one had just a little bit of an opening like that. So you have a little bit of an opening, but if you have too big of an opening, then your wire is going to come out of that loop. So all you need to do is you just take your pliers and you just pinch that closed until it sits right up against it. And then that should keep your earring from coming out. So then once you get your second one done, then you have a cute little pair of, what are we going to call these? Oh, let's just use the name of the kit. So Kind Heart Flower Pot Earrings. If this Kind Heart collection sparked an idea for you, let me know in the comments. What would you create with these beads? A bracelet, earrings, or something completely unexpected? And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more bead kit unboxings, tutorials, and design inspiration. I've got more projects coming up soon with this TGBE collection, and you don't want to miss how differently the beads come together next time.